guys, how's it going? Rob again. This is Vlogging Asia. So rather than do this video from my little condo, my little apartment, I just thought I'd do it in a local bar, have a nice San Miguel light while I'm doing it. So yeah, just to talk a bit about Valencia and firstly why I moved there and what led to me leaving Valencia. So I'd arrived in Dumaguete about a month ago, and it was sort of the height of May time. So if you don't know, April and May are the hottest months of the year in the Philippines, and when I say hot, I mean hot. So hot, unbelievably so. So after a few days in Dumaguete, just not being able to I love the heat, but it was even too much for me, to be honest. I just had to leave and find, thank you very much, appreciate that, thank you. I just had to leave and find a cooler place to stay, at least for May, June, you know. So I'd heard that Valencia was a good spot, being on a higher elevation. So yeah, cheers by the way, this is a San Miguel light. They say it's light, but it's actually 5%. So for me, that's normal. Coming from the UK, it's not even San Miguel. It's like a San Mig light. Not bad actually, quite fresh. It kind of reminds me of Corona, something like that. Anyway, back to the story. Yep. So I'd heard from a friend. Actually, speaking of Asia, he has a YouTube channel, so check him out. And he had mentioned in one of his videos in passing that Valencia was cooler, so I started researching it. And it's definitely sort of 3-4 degrees cooler than Dumaguete, just because of the elevation. It's kind of on it's in the mountain. Well, a lot of it's in the mountains. Some parts are cooler than others, but generally it's a lot cooler than Dumaguete itself. It's refreshing. So basically moved up to there and found an Airbnb. And actually, if you saw my last video, I did a bit of a tour of the Airbnb, and I spoke a bit about what happened after when I left and how the owner tried to scam me. But the idea was actually to stay in Valencia for a longer period of time. But it was making me sick. So the idea of this video is just to give you some warning. Because as nice as Valencia is, the views are beautiful, and it is definitely cooler, which is quite important in April, May time. The rest of the year, I'm back in Dumaguete now. It's not that bad. It's hot. Don't get me wrong. We're talking 30 degrees maybe. I'm not sure what that would be in Fahrenheit, but it's fine. It's nothing like it was in May. It's bearable. It's just nice, actually. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely May. It was nice to be in Valencia. Anyway, I moved up there and. Just a few things, basically. I got myself an infection first of all, so that's what kind of got the ball rolling with my sickness, and I ended up having to go to various doctors and they go all sorts of tests. That could be another video. But yeah, it ended up being a bit of a nightmare. It was I was already sick, but it was making me more sick. I'm slightly asthmatic. And one of the major issues that I had, certainly where I was in Valencia, of course this is just my own experience, and I can't speak for everyone or everywhere in Valencia, but my own experience was that it was just making me worse and worse, mainly because the neighbors would be burning trash, burning leaves. A lot of them are farmers, so it's a rural community, so a lot of them will burn trash and leaves to keep the mosquitoes away, and it's also an efficient way for them it's efficient a way to get rid of trash. I'm pretty sure it's illegal as well. So there would be constant burning. It would just constantly smell of smoke. I couldn't really open the windows actually of the house where I was. At least if I did open the windows, but it would, within a few minutes the whole house will be full of smoke, smoke and ash basically. So I was waking up every day gasping for air, and I was continuing to gasp for air throughout the day. So that was a main issue. Also being allergic to sorry, it sounds like I'm complaining, but I just want to give you a tip in case you are asthmatic or like me, if you are allergic to things like pollen. So being allergic to pollen, and obviously being a rural location, you'd expect a lot of allergies to flare up. So as nice as the idea was of living in the countryside, for me personally, just being so allergic to and asthmatic, it just wasn't really ideal. I mean, the house I was staying in as well, I'm sure there was something wrong with the air conditioning unit. It was just, I guess what it was doing was sucking in the air from outside, but it wasn't filtering it, I guess, correctly, or it hadn't been maintained. I'm not sure. But it just constantly, the bedroom constantly smelled bad. And as I say, I was waking up every day gasping for air. So there was that. And then, sorry, this video is going to be like a lot of complaints, because at the end of the day, it's a video about why I left Valencia. Obviously, if it was all going swimmingly well, then I wouldn't have left. Do you know what I mean? The other thing was that I was having to spend hours of my day cleaning. So if I didn't clean the floor and clean the house like twice a day, once in the morning and once before bed, nature would just start to take over, essentially. So yeah, I mean, we're talking like massive cockroaches, like flying cockroaches, beetles, all sorts, wild dogs, cats, roosters, chickens, goats. But yeah, the list goes on and on and on. So unless you're living with your girlfriend, or if you maybe have a wife, or you have a full-time maid, maybe a live-in maid or something like that, you just end up spending hours and hours of your day cleaning, which just isn't feasible. You know, when you work from home, having to spend 2 hours in the morning cleaning everything, and another 2 hours in the evening. You know, and as it was a 3-bedroom house, there's quite a lot to clean. It just takes you not to clean one room properly, and you just get an infestation the next day. So it's like it was a constant battle with nature, essentially. So yeah, I couldn't do it, basically. And then the other main reason was it's also quite isolating. So even though I had a scooter, and even though it was probably only about 25 minutes from Dumaguete, the traffic is not fun. You know, and maybe if you're a very confident rider, you don't mind sort of zipping up and down the highway at night time, great, you know. But if you're like me, I was nervous about doing that. You know, in the morning it was okay, as long as you sort of avoided rush hour during the day, it seemed okay. But I was driving down there one day, and we had a big pickup truck in front of us that basically hit a electricity line. A lot of them are quite low hanging, so they had this live wire literally fall down right in front of me. I mean, that's instantaneous death, basically. I imagine if that was at night time, you didn't see it coming down, you know, that'd be you. So yeah, you know, it wasn't. Yeah, so I sort of found myself not really going out much, particularly at night time, and not really sort of being able to sort of socialize much. I mean, there's nothing to do around there unless you have sort of a set of friends there. There's a few restaurants around there, a couple of like small bars, but there's just nothing going on. I mean, in Valencia, you've got one bar. I think it's one sort of expat-y bar. Not that I'm a massive fan of expat bars anyway, but there is like one expat bar. I think it's called the Red Bar, which is right in the center of the Valencia town, near where the market is. But apart from that, you've just got sort of small restaurants. Everywhere closes early. There's just not a lot going on. And as I say, you know, obviously you've got the scooter, so you can get around, but it's dodgy. It's really, for me, just my view, it's dodgy at night time. So, but again, you know, these are just my opinions. Someone else might love Valencia. I mean, I've met a few expats around here actually who live in Valencia. They come into Dumaguete all the time. Not a big deal for them. But for me, maybe I have an abundance of caution. It was just too much of a hassle. Particularly at night time. So they were sort of the main motivating factors of leaving. Yeah, so it's a beautiful place. I just prefer I prefer to be in Dumaguete. where there's a lot more things going on. It's just a lot easier to get out and about, a lot more restaurants and options, a lot more social opportunities as well. And then I can always like rent a scooter for a day or two and then pop up to Valencia. That's the other thing, I don't need a scooter here. I can literally get anywhere around town for 20 pesos on the trike. So although they don't have taxis in Dumaguete, they do have these trikes, these motorbikes that have these sidecars, steel frames sort of added on, and it's 20 pesos anywhere you want to get in town, which is nothing, you know what I mean? And you don't have to worry about parking, you don't have to worry about managing the traffic, you know, they all know what they're doing. Most of the truck drivers are very experienced. So yeah, it's just nice and easy for me personally. So, you know, I was sort of hoping to spend longer in Valencia. But as I say, the main motivating factor of going there was actually for the cooler weather. But now it's June, July almost. The weather's cooler anyway, so that's not really such a motivating factor anymore, you know. So yeah, nice place, Valencia. Particularly if you get up into the mountains. I think the town of Valencia itself is nice. A bit boring to be honest, if you're younger and you want a bit more action, a lot more things going on. But as I say, there is access to waterfalls around there, a lot of nature. A couple of videos ago I did a video about it's called the Shinam camping ground and restaurant. So places like that where you can get up into the mountains, you get beautiful views, you know, a lot of nature, peace and quiet and tranquility. That's really nice, you know. But just for me personally, after a few weeks, I'd had enough. So here I am back in Dumaguete. As I say, it's a 20-25 minute drive away, so I can get there anytime I want. But on the other hand, I'm also in town, so I can go and get my shopping more easily. I can pop out to a few local bars at night time. You know, it's just a lot more sort of people around here, and obviously being new in the Philippines and not knowing anybody, I just felt really quite isolated. Other than sort of one local friend that I'd made, I didn't really know anyone around there, you know. So yeah, I felt a bit isolated. But anyway, they're the reasons that I left Valencia after 3 short weeks, and why I'm back here in Dumaguete. So I'm going to edit this video up. I'm going to try and put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Do forgive me that last week I didn't put any out, simply because I was so busy moving and recovering health-wise. But now I'm back in the city, I feel a million times better. Life is good, and stay tuned for more content. There'll be lots of it coming down the pipeline. So I'm Rob, this has been Vlog in Asia. I'll say cheers, and I'll see you down the road.